Hello and welcome to my greenhouse. It is a beautifully sunny day. The sun has just come out. It's the middle of June 2020 and I figured it was about time I did another greenhouse tour update for you, as it's been so very long since the last one. So if you are new to gardening and you would like to find out what kind of things you could be growing at this time of year, or if you're a bit like me and you just love being a little bit nosy and having a look at what other people are growing just to get ideas and inspiration, then do keep watching because I am going to give you a full tour of everything that is in my greenhouse. Okay, so let's just get straight into it. Let's start over here in the left corner. I have, I think, 6 pots, purple pots, and what's in here is aubergines. I actually sowed these quite a bit later than is recommended, which is why they're so small, but I had a little trouble this year getting hold of seeds, as you might expect with it being 2020 and so many things having gone wrong. But here they all are. They're doing really well. This is the second time I've tried to grow aubergines, and the first time they got attacked by aphids, and so I'm really pleased that hasn't happened this year, and I'm hoping that they will fruit in time, but we shall see. Moving down, those over here on the far left, which look a bit silvery, these are artichokes. Now I sowed some of these last year but they never quite came to anything, so I've started again. They're still quite small and they definitely won't produce anything this year, so these are for planting out and hopefully giving me something the summer after. And next door to that, I've got some poppies. Again, I sowed quite a few of these, but the seedlings are a bit delicate and they don't love being moved, so I've only ended up with about 4. But I'm hoping that they will take, and again something will come of those. They're going to end up in the allotment, hopefully in my wildlife area at the back by the pond. And then here in the black, I have 3 cucumbers. The variety is Marketmore. Again, I've not had a great deal of luck with cucumbers in the past. I tend to plant them out in a spot that's a little bit too sunny for them and they get scorched. So this year I'm thinking I'll probably keep them in the greenhouse if possible, depending on how much space I end up with. So those are cucumbers, and then moving across here, there's nothing in these are just toilet rolls that I've got ready. I like to use these as eco-friendly pots, so rather than use plastic, I would fill each of these up with soil and put things like maybe brassicas in them. So I've got some things which I'll show you in a second which do need pricking out, and they will probably go into either those or homemade paper pots. And then down here I've got quite a few more toilet rolls ready, and in this tray these are Marigold Seeds, which I picked up from the allotment at the end of last summer. I don't know if you can see, the seed heads are pretty much still intact, and I'll be sowing some of those amongst my tomatoes and courgettes. I think they look really pretty and they're useful for attracting pollinators, so when I saw I had all of those seed heads at the end of last year I definitely wanted to keep them. And again, next to it, this is the Fakelia seed heads, which I posted a picture of recently on my Instagram. It's a lovely purple plant, sometimes called tansy, that bees really love, and it's great as a green manure. So I collected quite a lot of these, and I meant to strip the seed heads, and obviously, as you can see, I only managed to do about half the tray before I got distracted by more exciting things. And then over here, I mean, I'm a little bit embarrassed to show you this really, because it's a jelly bean plant that quite a lot of the little individual jelly beans fell off, and I lay them all out nicely on this tray thinking I would propagate them, and I did propagate them, and then I forgot about them, and that's why I have this small tray here balanced on top of all the small pots I was going to sow them in. Clearly that is not how it was supposed to go. But I got distracted, as we all do, and I probably will need to start again with those now, strip off some of the jelly beans and lay them out as I did before and start the propagation process again. So let's move up and round. So at the very top here, there's my coffee. At the very top here I've got some of the tomatoes I haven't yet planted out. As per usual for me, I have gone way over the top with number and variety. So in here we have, I believe these ones in the terracotta pots are Tumbling Tom, I think. Actually, if I've labelled it, it should tell me. Yes, those are Tumbling Tom. And at the back here I have some Ildi, which is a lovely, really delicious yellow cherry. And I think these ones here, the small bush-shaped ones, are Bahaha, which if you look at the back here in the black pots, you can see some that I have planted up. They're a lovely bush type that do really well in patio containers. And just at the top here, if I show you through the window, those are the Tumbling Toms that I have planted out. So these are kind of extras that I have left over. Moving around, this whole tray is it's a mix called Tombola that I was given for free when I made a seed order from a company called something like Plant Seed World or something like that, and they threw in this packet of what they called mystery tomatoes, and I just couldn't resist sowing a handful of them, because the hook with that is you don't know what you get. It was a mix of lots of different sorts, different sizes, and that's really what attracts me to growing tomatoes, like all the different colours and sizes and types, and I just couldn't resist sowing large numbers of those to try and find out what I might get. So that's super exciting, don't know what they're going to look like. Next door we've got, this is a variety called Bear Claw, which it's my first year growing it, and it looks amazing. It's one of those which is absolutely massive. So one tomato, like one slice of one tomato would cover a whole sandwich kind of size. Really, really hoping that that turns out well. Yeah, very excited by that, can't wait to see. This thing here, let me just pan all the way down. This is an Achocha, which if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like a cross between a cucumber and a pepper. So you can cook it or you can eat it raw. Apparently, this is my first year of growing it, but apparently they are very prolific. And I can see so far that it has, I mean, it's grown quite a little bit more than I thought it would. I've got an archway at the allotment that I will be planting that up. So I'm basically just hoping that that will live up to expectation, because that would be exciting if I could grow a plant that's like a pepper, like a bell pepper, but easy and prolific. That would excite me a lot. Moving down, this little tray here, it's full of orange banana tomatoes, which has been a long time favourite of mine for a number of years. I'm not exactly sure why, but this year I had quite a lot of trouble when it came to germinating them, and the plants are quite small and behind where I would have wanted them to be. And like I said, I'm really not sure why, but I hope that some of them pull through because they're my absolute favourite. Really lovely orange plum style tomato. So that's those, and then underneath, if I just crouch down to do this one, these are peppers, and one, I think that's a butternut squash that probably needs to just be composted looking at it, but these are peppers. I'm growing a handful of different types. They're all quite small because again I couldn't get hold of seeds easily and I sowed them a little bit late. Peppers really do need a long season, so I'm thinking these may not work out, but they are here, so I am going to persevere with them just to see what happens. And then right on the very bottom here I've got a small tray of Leeks. Now these are seeds that I saved myself, so I'm really pleased to see that these are growing. I've got some crocks for when I pop things up, and I've got my lovely flamingo watering can. So there's just one shelf left to look at, So if I scroll round and show you it, there's a collection of old used pots and some spaghetti squash that, to my great surprise, are still in storage from last year, and they're fine, which is unusual for a squash. You wouldn't expect them to last longer than maybe April. Now I've got this tray. I'll try and step round so I'm not in the sun. Everything in here is a Brassica. So that's things like cabbages or Brussels sprouts or broccoli, kale. They're all the same family. You'd sow them around about now, May, June. I like to sow them in modules like this. If I zoom right in, you should be able to see. They are starting to come out. Golden acre is a kind of cabbage. That one, I can't pronounce it, it's French. That's a kind of pointy cabbage. Nothing from the Brussels sprouts yet. The kale is relatively happy. I've got 2 or 3 different sorts of kale there. And then I've got cauliflower at the back, broccoli here, and turnips at the front. Now they're all romping away, so very shortly I will do what's called pricking out of those seedlings. So take out each individual one and pot it into something a bit larger, which is why I've got those ready over there. And the very last thing, essentially the same, but this is a tray full of salad. So I've got some Arctic king lettuce at the back there, the Good Life mix. It's a different kind of, a mix of different sorts of salad, some oriental greens. There's a space here where there should be rocket coming through. I'm not sure why nothing's come out there yet. Purslane, beets, chard, spinach at the back. I actually only sowed these last weekend, I think, so they are doing pretty well overall. But there we are. That's my greenhouse tour in June 2020. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really means a lot to me to have your support. If you liked this video, please be sure to hit like and subscribe and hit the bell to make sure you don't miss any future videos from me. That's it for this time, but I hope to welcome you back again very soon. Bye for now. Okay, so I'm just trying to test it out, and the sky is in the background there, like stealing the shot from me. I was just trying to film, and I don't know if you can see, she stopped doing it now, but just behind me there's a fig tree, and my very naughty cocker spaniel, I just saw her trying to chew off one of the branches, so I was wondering why it wasn't doing so well, and I think I've just found my answer.